Hi, welcome to Excel Tech. Today we have Functions episode 5 and we're going to cover the ACOSH function. Excel's description of this is it returns the inverse hyperbolic cosine of a number. So basically what that means is we're going to use this function to return the inverse value on a hyperbolic cosine graph. We can calculate a hyperbolic cosine by the formula cos h to the x equals e to the x plus e to the negative x divided by 2, and this produces this lovely parabola. Now normally if you use the cos h for the hyperbolic cosine, you put in the value and it would calculate along the x-axis and return the value from the y-axis. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the inverse cosine. So whatever value we put in, it will look under the y-axis and return the value from the x-axis. Now let's look at the first example. We want to find the inverse hyperbolic cosine of the number 1. So we look up the y coordinates until we find where the parabola intersects the number 1, and you'll see here that it's at 0 on the x coordinates. So we know that the inverse hyperbolic cosine of the number 1 is indeed 0. Now for the next example, let's find out where 2 intersects the inverse hyperbolic cosine. So if we look back at a graph here on the y coordinates, we work our way across until we intersect the line and then work our way down. So you can see that that's right, 1.317 is indeed the inverse hyperbolic cosine of the number 2. Now let's keep working our way up this graph. Let's have a look at 5 and see if we can find the inverse hyperbolic cosine. Here's 5 in the y coordinates, work our way across until we find out where the parabola intersects it, work our way down, and you can see indeed yes, 2.292 is indeed the inverse hyperbolic cosine of the number 5. You'll notice here that the function is not limited to the graph here. You can actually put in the inverse hyperbolic cosine of any number, with an exception. You'll see here Excel produces a number error. This is because Excel can't process any values less than 1 on a hyperbolic cosine graph. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to leave any questions or comments in the section below, and thanks for watching.